Our next coach will be our current varsity basketball coach, Coach Jose Roca. He's currently the head of the Belen Jesuit Department of Math. Like prior coaches, he too is a Belen graduate. Almost all of our coaches, you can see, that are graduates of the school. And a week ago, he reached his 300th career win as a varsity basketball coach against our friends from 87th Avenue. Please welcome Coach Roca.
Thank you. I prepared a speech about 40-45 minutes, so I think you guys will be happy. Anyway, I'm going to pick up where George left off. The fact is, you know, I've been here this is my 27th year, 26 years coaching different levels, and it's the family atmosphere, I think, that really strikes. If you notice, we all kind of came from somewhere else. In other words, I coached under George Martinez as assistant coach. I played under Ruben Marrero. Ruben Marrero played under Ferreiro, who played under Mariano. In other words, there's been a connection here for many years. I think that's what makes it special. And that's why we wanted to have this evening, just to tie things together and for everybody to see, you know, a face of another era that played, maybe not on the same court, but played for the same school team. So I wanted to just mention a few things. They asked me to highlight, it's been 17 years of varsity coaching, so there's a lot of people to highlight, and I had to pick some. So if I leave anybody out, I apologize from early on. And because I'm getting old, I have to get my glasses out here. So, okay, I'll do that. I can do that. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. My first team was the 92-93 year. Marcelo Llorente was was the point guard on that team. If you notice, it was very casual back then. We got Steve Holland with the glasses. He was my assistant coach. Steve Holland passed away a few years ago. Great guy, great mind with the math, but with the basketball. But we were a tight group there. We didn't win that many games. We won 10 games that year, but those guys had a great time. Alex Levy. Remember him saying in the locker room, hold on to that rope, just everybody together. Unfortunately, the rope was falling, but they kept holding on, and we got 10 wins that year. Throughout the years, I had some great teams that have won many games. From 1994-97, the varsity teams averaged 21 wins. 22 wins in 94-95. Which was the first 20-game win season since 1979. The years of the 70s where we had some wins of 24 and 23 and so forth. We had 22 wins in 97. And Orma Travieso was one of our tough inside and outside players that year. Also, Bert Moreno, who was a 3-year letterman. He was a high-scoring guard. He got hurt his junior year. Came back his senior, but he led the team with Carlos Manastani in 96, and they reached 18 wins. The 96-97 season, we had, as a senior that year, and he's here with us, Marcos Macau, if he can stand up a second. Marcos scored 1,374 points for us in his 4 years. Him, along with Wawi Cepero and Jose Rasco, led that team to a 22-9 season. And like George said, we kept moving up in classifications. We went up from 3A, then we went up to 4A. Currently, we're 6A. We had the chance to maybe jump to 8A if we wanted to, like the football team, but we decided to stay at 6A because we have some healthy rival teams there at this time. The following year, this was my last year. I coached for 5 years, and then I stepped away because I went to get my master's degree. We had our third child at home, so I stepped away from coaching for a few years. This last team that we had, we really thought we were going to go all the way with these guys. We had Danny Lopez on that team, the 6 seniors there on the side, Danny Lopez, Michael Yanes, Michael Mena, Joseph Noah, Eric Guanche, Xavier Gonzalez. If you notice, their their points per games are their, this was a high-scoring team. Danny scored almost 19 points a game, Eric almost 17, Michael Yanis almost 14, and we lost to, we beat Pace in the semifinal. We said, wow, we beat Monsignor Pace, and we moved on for the championship game, but we had Cardinal Gibbons in our district also that year, and Cardinal Gibbons beat us on a last-second shot. And then we moved into the regionals, and we played this team that looked like a college team. They were so big that we just walked in and said, okay, we'll try our best. But a fantastic team here in the 97-98 year. So I stepped away for a few years, and in 2002, Vince Fernandez, whose son was going into 9th grade, I had been coaching middle school for a couple of years at that time. He kind of convinced me, hey, come back, coach. We'll, and when I turned to my wife and I said, I'll probably come back and coach for a few more years and then probably stop. Well, that was 12 years ago. So I thank Vince for getting me back into this. So that year when I came back, we had a very good team. We had a young team. We had 2 freshmen on the team. We had a sophomore on the team. And then a really tough group of seniors led by Alex Guardiola, who that year averaged 20 points per game. And to this day, at least any record I refer to is a Miami record, okay? Because I know in Cuba the scores were a little bit higher apparently, but at least here, you know how it is. I myself averaged 20 points when I played, and I think it was more like 12. But anyway. The fact is, Alex Guardiola scored 44 points in a single game against Curly, and that is our record here in Miami. And he was All-State honorable mention that year. In the 03-04 team, which will always be the first team to beat Columbus, okay? Sitting over here in this table. That is also one of the things that Vince was able to do. We had stopped playing Columbus for about 17 years, and he somehow convinced the Columbus coaches and so forth to play us, and that year we were able to beat them. As my assistant coaches that year, I had Carlos Bravo and Jerry Jones. Great guys who gave it all they had with these young guys on there. The following year, we also had a very good team, the 04-05 team, which again, most of the guys are here. On that team, we had Alex Tejeria, who scored over 1,000 points in his 3-year career. Alex, would you stand up a second? Alex is probably, nobody take it personally, but I think Alex was one of the best pure shooters we had in this school, and he would just carry the team sometimes on his back. The win here against Columbus, he kind of just scored the last few baskets and free throws on his own. He had great help with Raul Ordonez, our starting center, who transferred in his 10th grade. And I'm going to go around the table real quick. Jerry Cabeza, who has some of the nicest dunks in the modern era. Let's see who else I'm going to go. All right, we're going to move on to the next page. All right, because I'm confusing the years now all of a sudden. Okay. Anyway, we also had on the following year, 05-06, this was the senior year for Gabby Bermudez and Anthony Fernandez. Is Gabby still here? I saw him earlier. Oh, okay. Gabby is our assist leader, all-time assist leader. He ended up his 4-year career with 732 assists. He ended up averaging more assists than points. And he just was a passer. He always looked to pass. And our all-time career point leader, who played 4 years of varsity basketball, always played, he didn't want to, we forced him, to play power forward for us. He always wanted to be out there shooting. We said, you are the power forward. And actually, that's what he played in college. We'll say at 6'2½", 6'4", okay. At 6'4", Anthony ended up scoring 1,586 points for us. We also have Alex Treva, who was part of that team. He's a little bit more famous for his raps, singing in the buses. Yeah, I didn't forget that. And Eric Montes, center, who really did a great job for us inside. Moving right along, we really got going in this time in the 2003 through 2010 years. We averaged 20 wins per season throughout those years, and we had some great guys playing for us. We kept beating Columbus, which we are now 6-6 against Columbus in the 12 years that we've played them. One of the most incredible shots to send a Columbus game into overtime came from Steve Agras, who hit a three-pointer from the top of the key, and he was our center. He went out there, just popped it, and we went into overtime. We ended up winning that game. So Steve, who averaged 15 points for us, Steve. And on that same team, we also had two guys one who played 4 years as a varsity player, and the other one who played 2 years on the varsity, I think. I don't know if it was 3, but definitely 2. But they both averaged 11 points their senior year. That was Tony Quesada. Tony? Tony stayed for years, so we're happy. And Diego Fernandez Soto. So we move into our last 5 years. We have our current team pictured there also, but the last 5 years, we moved up into a district that has been very difficult for us. We were playing teams like Norland, Northwestern, Jackson, Homestead, Central, Matter Academy that we thought was a little bit down, and then this year they picked up 4 players from another school. This is the type of thing that we're dealing with. And one thing I can tell you, as long as I'm varsity coach, and I think Ruben and George and everybody else said, we play with the kids that come to our school. We get the advantage that we work with them, but we're not out there looking for players. I need a center, I need a point. Whatever we have is what we're going to work with. But we work with them from 6th grade. We have a great staff in place, and we're very happy to be able to work with 6th graders and see them develop and become our varsity players. I also want to mention we have Jordan Fletcher in the house, Peter Sirrera. These guys have been playing the last 2 years with us. Did I forget anybody? All right, I think I got everybody. Huh? Del Rio, how can I forget Del Rio? Del Rio had a very nice dunk in one of the games, and he's a very funny guy too. He's a great player. All right, anyway, to finish the evening, I just wanted to thank everybody. Before I hand it over to Mark King, he's going to do the final thank yous, but the whole idea with this evening was just kind of to get together, hopefully, get to know each other a little bit more. I want to thank once again my coaching staff. We've been together for a while now, and I want to thank my family also, because it's a struggle sometimes when you're out 3 to 4 nights a week for 3, 4 months, and then you got the summers that you work and so forth. The support at home is great. And last but not least, Vince, as George said, we call him the guru of basketball around here. Vince does a fantastic job for us. Thank you.